it was called OnBase. Okay. So we used to have a document imaging software called OnBase, and that particular software, we used to scan the transcripts. This is exclusively for our transcripts. So students submit their transcripts from other institutions, and we take that, or any kind of documentation related to their education, and we scan that particular, and then we used to store it using our document imaging software. So that was at the front end, and the back end, I mean, the utilization of that was along with our counselors, along with our student success team, and also some of the other areas. They would be able to search by their student ID, or search by their date of birth, or search by their social security number, and then it would pull up the documents that they had. PDFs and so on. So this OnBase system, we had it on-prem. We had the server, the database, all of it on-prem. And so we had a ransomware attack back in September. So unfortunately, there was no backup for that particular server. We used Wasabi. That's where we would have our backups. But unfortunately, we did not have for this particular one. So we lost it. So we're trying to recreate the same concept using bots. So we are getting the scanner right now, and I think Chelsea shared that particular scanner information with you. So the same thing, we will try to scan all the hard copies, the transcripts, majority of them, and any other related document they have. But the concept is, once it gets scanned, again, based on size email, I saw that it's going to be stored, and they'll be creating a folder for a transcript, or depending on the document type. But at the end of the day, our counselors, our areas, functional areas, they should be able to search those documents. When they meet a student, they can pull up that, okay, what is your ID, or what is your last name, what is your social, and they should be able to pull up that information. I wanted to make sure I give this details before we, so does that help understand the requirement for this?
So Bala, I have a question right at there. So, the Fujitsu scanner which you're getting, this is Uday, by the way. So the Fujitsu scanner which you're getting, it has an integration with the BCM, the box content management. And so my question to you is, I did look at the workflow shared by Kelsey. So in there, after scanning, I believe one of the employees are going to key in the data, naming the file. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is correct.
Did you guys decide on the parameters which you'll be using in order to name that particular file?
So that is where I think the initial step was, Chelsea wanted to see if you and your team's expertise, you could help with this project. And then, she's going to send you some sample documents, like a transcript and so on. And then, we get the, and then we go through that process. Like, how do we, it's also a training, so this is an IT driven right now. We are trying to have the functional layers. Hey, this is ready.
While I know you want to address this as step 1 and step 2, but when we look at the entire problem, for even the understanding or executing it from end to end, we are looking at the problem as a whole, because whatever you want to do as a step 2 is an integral part of the entire workflow, because in fact, that's going to be a beginning point in terms of assigning the documents. So what we need to do is, Sai, Yasho, I don't know if Vamsi is on the call.
Yes.
I think we need to create some test case scenarios with multiple attributes, because we also need to pick those attributes from Bala and team. The reason being, my understanding, the transcripts are not uniform, because the transcripts are going to be originated from different universities. So which means one transcript may have a student ID, another transcript may not have a student ID. Is that correct, Bala?
That is true. So that is absolutely true.
So which means the student ID we could probably use as one of the, so you guys understand where we have the multiple issues coming in here, because there won't be like a uniform set attribute, which we could have a blanket scenario for all of them, because that's where I see we need to come up with a solution. But temporarily, guys, I think step one, in order to even execute whatever Kelsey asked for, we need to run like multiple test case scenarios with multiple attributes. If there is a date of birth, name, of course, is going to be common, but we need to have like a cross check along with that name. So we have to see, we need multiple samples and take a look at it and use either student ID or the social security number or the date of birth as the secondary set of identification or validation, so that the automation could go. Like, say for instance, this is my understanding, once everything is done, I have a user scanning like 50,000 set of transcripts. The Fujitsu is going to use the OCR with the inbuilt existing API or the API which we will be building. It uses the set attributes, then it pushes all the data into the metadata box, metadata folder, from which it's going to assign to the respective student folders. Wherever there is transcript, it needs to go and sit there. If at all there is no transcript folder exists, because it's a new student that's coming to the university, then it has to automatically create a transcript folder, and that particular document should go and sit in there. So this is the ideal case scenario when everything is said and done. Am I correct, Bala?
Correct. Yes.
All right. So we're Sai, Yasho, and we're all on the same page on this. We understand end to end. So we just have to figure out where we need the API, what are the data sets we're going to use for validation, so on and so forth.
Right. And we have Vamshi too on the line. So Vamshi, if you have any questions, you can please feel free to ask.
Yeah, I think pretty much the same what Uday has summarized. That's the assumption. If that's right, I think we are good for now. Probably we'll get more questions as we move on.
Right. So Bala,
and Vamsi, Sai, 1 second, sorry. Vamsi, in the process, right, in the entire process, envision whatever sets of sample documents we would require from Bala for us to play with, or run the test case scenarios. So that'll be helpful from their end, actually. So sorry, Sai, please go ahead.
So Bala, I just had this quick question: is that a transcript? Is it a similar style or is it different styles? Like, when I looked up in the internet, there is 1-page transcript, there are 2-page transcripts. So
yeah. So again, I know you heard me typing and all that. I'm trying to get our evaluator on join the call. So this way, I'm not giving you insufficient or incomplete information. So he's going to join in 2 minutes. Okay. So this way he will provide the actual. He also has the actual transcript. He has the knowledge. He is the expert, subject matter expert on that. So yeah.
So that's great, because the reason why we were asking that question is because we want to train the training model in such a way that it identifies what it's actually looking at. Is it a transcript or is it some other document? So if we have those kind of samples, then we could train the program to look for that specific information on that particular page. So that's what the question was all about. Yeah.
And also another question I have, Bala, is what is the timeline of the scanner? Like, do you guys have any idea when you'll be receiving it?
We should have received it last month, but let me check on, how the POs and everything.
That's okay. The plan B, right? If you have like any go-to person at Fujitsu, we can ask them for, or we figure it out. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of that. So don't worry. So
I think we have Rob joining in. So yeah.
Yeah.
Up to you.
Vamshi, Yashoda, any questions? Yeah.
I think I'm good for now.
Yeah,
And
Robert is
what is the current destination folder where the transcripts or any documents are being uploaded to the box?
I don't think we have set that up yet.
Okay.
So it's still like, you know, that whole, like, it's all like a fresh slate right now. It's a new, you know, everything is new. So we have to set up the whole structure, content structure, and also the workflow. And I think Sai and Uday, correct me, you do this admin access to the box instance, correct?
Right. We do have access to that. Yes. As an administrator. Yes.
Hey, Robert, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, Robert, this is the team that is helping us with the entire box and the transcript scanning and the document imaging of that. Big team. So Robert is our admissions and records lead, and he is the in-house expert on, you know, as I was talking about the
What's the criticality?
on base. He used to manage that. So Robert, this team had a couple of questions in regards to the transcript type and what kind of document you're scanning. So I appreciate you joining last minute request. So Sai or Uday, should I frame some of the questions you asked for Robert, or would you like to go ahead and?
Right. So, Robert,
Either way is fine. Site, you can take a lead.
so Robert, a quick question was that we wanted to understand from you, how does is the transcript look similar for all the students? Is it a one-page transcript? Is it a two-page transcript? Or do the transcripts change the way and style for different students?
So do you mean for our in-house transcripts or for any that we're receiving from other institutions?
I think it's everything because, you know, the project entails
Okay.
everything, right? Yeah.
So right now, when we did have access for scanning, we would we did scan our pre-1983 transcripts, and those are all the same. I want to say some of those are back to back. May have a few pages. Our Hartnell transcripts that we have, those are just one page, but it just depends on how many. Those I know that we're thinking if there's a way to have. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I just wanted to make sure, like, if I have to ask, okay, so what is going to be the major chunk of transcripts that you're going to be scanning, right? Like, is it like our Hartnell transcripts, or they provide like the CSU, or, you know, some of the other transcripts, or what? Because the team wants to understand, is there consistency in the transcripts? And for example, if it's Hartnell, what kind of attributes does it have? Like, does it have their ID or their last name, social? You know, how would they want when they're scanning it, right? Because these scanners can read the data from the hard copy, right? So they want to read like what and put it in the right attribute, map it to the right attribute.
So we shouldn't be scanning our own, since those should be stored. If anything, we'll do a scanning for those at least pre-1983. But other than that, typically we'll be scanning in our other institutions that are coming in. They're all very different, but they've been about the same format. Some schools do include the full social or the full date of birth. Some actually block out some information, may X out maybe like the year of a date of birth, they'll X out like the first 5 of a social. But normally they will have at least the name and some level of date of birth, and they may have their own unique student ID number. And it's mainly other transfer colleges, high school transcripts, and those normally look about the same for our local high school transcripts. There's maybe like a few that are a little different, and we normally we receive a lot of the AP scores. College Board.
Awesome. So Rob, we would like to have samples of those. If you could, like, you know, scan a couple of those copies and, you know, send it our way. We would like to just visually see them, you know, and see, is that 1 page, 2 page, and if it's multiple pages, how does it look like? And, you know, how does the AP scores looks like, and, you know, other school transcripts look like too. And if you have any pre-1983, we would also like to have a look at them as well.
Sure. Yeah, I could do that. I think if anything, I'll probably try to send some of our local colleges, since they're the ones we normally get a lot of copies of, to at least get those started.
Right. Okay.
But I can definitely pull.
Perfect. And
Answer your questions.
So, Rob, since you've been previously been able to scan the transcripts, so what's your typical process of doing a scanning process, Rob? Can you just walk me through the process once, like how it starts and how it ends?
Yes. Yeah. So once we actually receive the transcript, our evaluation team would actually go and enter our colleague system, just so we have it on record. From there, we would pass it over to a staff who's going to scan it through OnBase. From OnBase, they would just take a stack of, say, just transfer transcripts. They'll scan it all in one batch, and with OnBase, they would be able to individually to go ahead and fill in whether it was an official transcript, what institution it came from, the student's information, name, date of birth, and our unique Hartnell ID. So instead of using the ID that the other institution may have used, based on the information that we'll write in. So normally we'll actually write our ID number when we're entering it. We'll enter in the ID from colleague. That'll be written on the transcript so that when we're scanning, we know that that's going to be. And other than that, those are the main pieces. Just if it's official, the actual school, name, date of birth, and then our student ID. From there, the system would allow us to kind of save the same information if it happens to have been like 2 pages or more. But then we'd also be able to just continue with a new record so that then from there we'll sort of batch the whole system so that it would fully upload into OnBase, and then from there it's retrievable by anybody who searches based on full name, any of the fields that we entered in.
Okay.
Okay. So in this process, Rob, like when we are scanning, when the scan process is happening, as we discussed that the format might be same or format might be different. Based on that, we may have to configure multiple templates to pick up the relevant field from the hard copy while it is getting scanned. So all this configuration would be part of this Fiji scanner, which is already taken up, or do we require any manual process to perform this activity?
If I can answer that, Robert has no idea. He hasn't yet seen the scanner. So
Okay.
honestly, we haven't seen it too. So this is maybe we are like ahead of the game right now with that. So I just pinged Dr. Pham to check on the scanner arrival, and I may not have the information right during this meeting, but I will keep this team posted.
Okay, sure.
And Bala, I just had
But I can.
a question on the proxy, the library proxy server. Can you just throw some light on that? You're on mute.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think the information, that was what this team wanted from you. And again, we'll go along and I'll make sure I include you in the conversations that we'll have. Thank you again for jumping in on the call, Robert.
Thank you, Bala. Thank you all.
Yeah. So give me 1 second. Let me share my screen again regarding that one. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the, let me just share this in the chat also, and I will send an email also because I'm making sure I list my action items. So I think I gave you the wrong one. Sorry, hold on. Should be the. I should have been well prepared. Sorry.
No worries. We got you on the call. That's important. So yeah.
No, that's fine. Again, I appreciate it. I just don't want you to feel like, you know, um, so okay, let me take a step back here. So yes. So from our library, students will need to connect, you know, to the all the research, you know, the books and, you know, all the content, the database and all of that. So one of the things is, you know, this particular we integrated too many things and I'm all over the place right now. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
I think that's taken care of. Actually goes through this. I may need some time on that particular piece so that I can give you the right information.
No worries.
Because
If you can just
there's
give us
couple
a general overview of what exactly, like, you know, on a high level overview.
that's what there were 3 things related, and I know we were working on it. So I need to get you the exact thing. So I'll get back to you on that one. It's been a while. It's yeah. Yeah, I'll get back to you on that one. My bad.
No worries at all. And before we hang up, I just wanted to understand about the next one, which Chelsea said. Just a second, please. It talks about DR for cat bath server on AWS. So is that like a disaster recovery backup or something like that? Or
Yeah. Yes. So that I can talk about. So we, we used to have everything on-prem. We moved to the AWS, and we have a DR account, and this DR account is in rest of our is in the West Coast, like Oregon, but this DR is in the East Coast, like Ohio. That's where we put this particular account. So the whole thing, I think we have a couple of EC2s that are over there, and we just wanted to make sure we get that backed up, like not just backed up, but also have like an entire disaster recovery. So the overall, I think it's the AWS, reconfigure. We wanted a sandbox for our team also to play with, not in the production, but the sandbox. So it's like overall configuring, I guess. That's what that's what she meant by that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then
Because this is
obviously-
our SIS.
okay, colleague prod. Okay.
So the return to, like whatever, like if something were to happen, how can we like get everything back up? So and also have like a sandbox instance or account for our team, because the entire team is new to AWS. So, instead of putting them like on the production and, rather than just like put a sandbox and they can play with it.
That is correct.
Correct.
Okay. I got the hang of it, Bala. So, yeah, this is what you need. So yeah, that needs a separate discussion altogether. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
I just wanted to get an overview of what exactly where you're looking at. Yeah. So I think that's good. Yeah, sure. Did
Yes,
you have any
yes.
questions on this one?
No, Sai. I think I have to get into more details once we have the required artifacts. Probably I can dig into and I can explore a bit more. But right now, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think these were the questions we had, Bala. And Uday, did you have anything else for Bala? I think I'm good right now with the information I have. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm good from my end as well. I believe the next step's basically let's create SOWs with the box content management to begin with. And, on the others, we'll get a deeper understanding. I think we need to have like another call or so dedicated to the VPN gateway, so on and so forth. Accordingly, and as Yashoda said, we'll collect all the information that's required for us to do the user testing. And I believe those are the steps I foresee. And Bala, thank you so much for giving us the time, and very nice talking to you.
Yes. Thank you, Bala. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank
Okay,
you
thank you
all.
all.
Thank you again so
Thank
much.
you all. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
bye.
you.
Bye.